Burhaniyya Sufi order. Burhaniyya is a Sufi order with roots tracing back to my master, the Qutb Ibrahim al-Dasuqi, who was born in 1255 and passed away in 1296 AD. The order full name is Tariqa Burhaniyya Dasuqiyya Shazuliyya, referring to its founders respectively. Burhan is from the surname of my master Ibrahim al-Dasuqi and means evidence of the denomination and religion. While rooted in Egypt, the Burhaniyya later on mainly starting from its Sudanese setting under the guardianship, under the leadership of Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani, it becomes an international and global tariqa that the efforts that have been led by the founder in its Sudanese setting, my master Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani. So it spread in Egypt, and by the way, its birthplace, its establishment has taken place in Egypt, and later, after many years, once again it appeared and emerged as a strong and influential tariqa under the guardianship of Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhan. And from Sudan, by the way, it reached different parts of the world, mainly Europe, North America, and recently Asia, including Pakistan and India. The tariqa then spread by its known name, Burhaniyya Dasuqiyya Shazuliyya, after Abu al-Mawahib, Abu al-Hasan al-Shazuli. And with the Dasuqiyya, it came to emerge together to constitute or to make up one tariqa, and it appears in the final name, that is Tariqa Burhaniyya Dasuqiyya. However, in Sudan it gained significant traction, especially after being introduced by Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani in the 1960s. It has a widespread presence in Sudan with different centers in different parts of the country, and as I have told it later, it is an international tariqa that has strong presence in Europe, in Asia, and in some Arab countries. The biography of the story life of my master, the Qutb Ibrahim al-Dasuqi, the founder of the tariqa in the 12th century, told that he had given the tariqa to a limited number of people during his lifetime, including his brother Musa Abu Imran, in a way that involves a very subtle wisdom. However, the tariqa stayed on through the past time, limited in its spreading around, till there came the time for it to spread and take its big position in the map of the time, the latest time of life as a whole. And here, by the way, the founder, my master, the Qutb Ibrahim al-Dasuqi, has expressed the notion that his tariqa before the end of time will come to cover the East and the West. So in his own words, I quote, "The world and its days will not end until my tariqa covers the East and the West." However, such strong prophecy have been realized, for the tariqa now is covered many European countries in addition to USA, and recently, as I have stated shortly, its teaching reaches to Asia, mainly India and Pakistan. Following the speech on the birth and establishment of the Tariqa, mainly in its Egyptian setting, led by the Qutb, Sheikh Ibrahim al-Dusugi, followed by the efforts of Abu al-Mawahib al-Shadhali, the very same Tariqa, which in the final conclusion had given the form of Tariqa Burhaniyya Dusugiyya Shazuliyya. Here it is my pleasure to present the Tariqa in more thorough details, mainly in its Sudanese setting. However, the speech on the founder, Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani, the founder of the Tariqa in its Sudanese setting, in addition to his khulafa after him and the doctrine of the Tariqa, his authoring books, and then the attempts that have been led by the Sheikh and his khulafa successors after him in the widespread of the teachings of the Tariqa to reach Europe, North America, and recently Asia is the focus of the rest of our episode presentation. However, this is just by the way short notes about the biography of Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani. Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani, 1902-1983. Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani was born in Wadi Halfa in north of Sudan, 1902. At the age of 10, his uncle initiated him into Burhaniyya. He held long nightly vigils in prayer, during which he had visions wherein he was visited by some of the great saints. During these visions and in his dreams, he learned some parts of the awrad, the litany of the Tariqa. After many years had passed, he finally found a teacher, a blind stranger, who had been sent to him by my master, Ibrahim al-Dusugi, the original founder of the Tariqa. He later discovered books which had been buried in booths by his grandparents during the period of the Mahdi, in which many books were burned. They include the entire awrad or the litanies of his Tariqa, which finally Sheikh Muhammad Osman immediately put to use for his followers. In a long vision taken over 40 days, he learned that his task was to revitalize the order of my master Ibrahim al-Dusugi. For 2 months, Sheikh Muhammad Osman refused to take on this task until Imam al-Hussein personally ordered him to do so. Under the leadership of Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani, the Tariqa Burhaniyya gained many followers in Egypt, in Sudan, and in some other countries in Europe, recently in Asia, India, and Pakistan. During the 70s, the order already counted over 3 million members alone in Egypt. Since 1981, the order has also spread to Europe and North America. Sheikh Muhammad Osman, who received the name Sayyidi Fakhruddin, died on April 1983 and is buried in Khartoum, Sudan. His grave has become a place of pilgrimage, and each anniversary, thousands of Burhanis from all over the world, as well as members of the Sufi order, gather to celebrate a great festival, Hawliya, in his honor. Sufi Sanad. Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani had been initiated into the Burhaniyya when he was 10 years old. at his hometown, Wadi Halfa in northern Sudan, under his teacher, Sheikh Osman Hamid Abdel Baghi, who was one of the well-established family figures in the Sufi path, and whose spiritual chains of transmission, Sanad, went to my master Ahmad al-Arab al-Sharnobi, who in turn had taken the tariqah from my master Muhammad Idris, who took the tariqah from Sayyidi Jalaluddin al-Suyuti. And by the way, from Sheikh Jalaluddin, the notable scholar, the tariqah went on to my master Musa Abu Imran, and finally to the founder of the tariqah. I'm referring here to the Qutb, Sheikh Ibrahim Dusugi. May Allah be pleased with them. However, and in short terms, what I would like to say that Sheikh Muhammad Osman Abdul Burhani Sufi Sanad, relating are rooted and established following the teachings of Sheikh Ibrahim al-Dusugi, the famous well-known Qutb, in addition to the teaching of Sheikh Abu al-Hasan al-Shazali, mainly Abu al-Mawahib al-Shazali. So together they constitute and make up the Sanad of Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani, and then the teachings of the Tariqah is based on the strong foundation of the two Qutb. I'm referring to Sheikh Ibrahim al-Dusuki in addition to Abu al-Mawahib al-Shadali. The Tariqah doctrine. Tariqah Burhaniyya doctrine, by the way, is as the Sufi order's doctrine. And here I would like to say, Burhaniyya, Tariqah do not perceive Sufi doctrines as separate from the basic teachings of Islam. Rather, the Tariqah founder and his successors after him greatly emphasize the importance and significance of the adherence to the abiding with Sharia, following the Quranic teachings and the prophetic Sunnah. Thus, the Burhaniyya presented itself from the outset as a grand way combining spiritual sobriety and ecstasy. In the following years, this synthesis of past Sufi currents proved to be quite attractive to vast numbers of people inside Sudan and beyond its borders. From another side, what also distinguished the doctrine of the founder, I'm referring here to Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani, is that he used, and for many years during his own time, he used to hold lessons inside his mosque following every obligatory prayer. So he used to have such sessions, and by the way, it based on pointing question from the presence, and then the Sheikh went on to answer in so long with great knowledge of whatever the topic or whatever the question used to be appointed by the presenter or the inquirer. So one of the main features that distinguish his own doctrine, his Sufi doctrine, he used, as I have stated, after each obligatory prayer to open the session for making questions from the audience, and then he provided the answers, whatever the questions used to be regarding Sufi matters, regarding social matters, mainly in its religious context, and so on. And as a guide, as a perfect guide and a spiritual guide, by the way, he used to express his Sufi doctrine in his own writings. And by the way, he used to but he used to express his views, his Sufi doctrine in his prose writing in addition to his poetry one. That is because, as we are going to provide his authoring books, we find him that he has written on Sufism, and he has written in Islamic matters. So throughout his writings, he used to express in very clear way his own Sufi doctrine. His authoring books. One of the main features that also make up his personality as a perfect guide, agnostic, is that Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani also has practiced writings. He is an author, and in his own favor, he has more than 4 authoring books. Out of these famous and widespread authoring books is the following: انتصار أولياء الرحمن على أولياء الشيطان, the victory of the friends of God over the friends of the devil. Another authoring, تبرئة الذمة في نصح الأمة, clearance of the pact in advising the nation and reminding the wise to the traveling to the righteousness. The third authoring book by Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani is authoring books that have been compiled out of the lessons that he used to deliver inside his own mosque and his own Sufi center. So inside, as I have shortly stated, that inside his Sufi center, he used to hold deliver lessons, and this lesson, by the way, took the form of questioning and answer. The audience asked a question, and then the Sheikh used to answer the question. So these lessons have been compiled together, and it has taken the following names. For example, the first one out of these recordings and lessons here we have Qabasum min Nur, a glimpse of light. Another authoring out of these recordings, Allimu Anni, teach about me. So this is just, by the way, part of his authoring. Another authoring book in his own account, and by the way, this is a very important, very significant authoring, is a poetic diwan. Carries the names of Sharab al-Wasl. And whenever we find Sharab here, by the way, it is metaphorical usage. That is because Sufis used to be recognized and known with the usage of rhetoric or the metaphorical language is there whenever we come across Sufi writings. And in this particular context, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani has written and has provided the Islamic Sufi library with very interesting, very influential authoring, that is poetic diwan, Sharab al-Wasl. And Sharab al-Wasl, by the way, it is a poetic diwan that the Sheikh in it has expressed his own view towards Sufi gnosis. And here we have to say that the Sufi thought of the Sheikh is there in this particular authoring. These authoring books that I have already stated, referring to my master, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani, by the way, had been published and it is in circulation. His offspring, my master, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani, had been blessed with sons and daughters. So just here, I would like to present their name: Sheikh Ibrahim, his first Khalifa, Sheikh Sid Ahmad, Sayyida Fatima, Sheikh Al-Shazali, Sheikh Ali, Sheikh Abdul Salam, Sheikh Al-Hussein, and Sayyida Asiya. So this is just the daughters and the son of the founder, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani. May Allah be blessed with them. His students, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani, may Allah be blessed with him, has started his spiritual guidance journey in the Tariqa at the beginning of the 1930s. Taken from Wadi Halfa, his birthplace, the starting point in which he spread the teachings of his own Tariqa. And in this area, I would like here just to point out to the earliest youth of the area who accompanied him during that time. Yes, we would like to mention part of them: Muhammad Ali Dinamo, Mahir Yasin, Osman Adnan, Salih Abdul Salam, Sid Ahmed Grafi, Osman Rabi, Hassan Frisco, Ibrahim Ahmed Dawood, Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahim, Abdul Karim Khalil, Hassan Ibrahim, Salah Kashif, and Jamal Sadiq. From other students of the Sheikh, here just I would like to mention part of them: Salih Amin Ali, Ibrahim Kashif, Abbas Al-Fazar, Muhammad wa Ahmed, and Mustafa Hamid, Assir Al-Futuh, Suleiman Shuaib, Haj Shafi, Muhammad Fadlallah, Abdullah Muhammad Fadlallah, Mahdi Abdul Qayyum. More students among Burhanis: Muhammad Yasin, Bakhit Zaki, Mustafa Nuruddin, Madani Jagod, Hassan Jagod, Elias Makki Sufi, Abdul Muhaymin, Salih Amin Ali, Ibrahim Kashif, Kamal Unsa, Taha Fadl, Musa Hussein, Ali Jag, Babikir Muhammad Al Hassan, Muhammad Deng from South of Sudan. So this is just, by the way, parts of the qualified students that have been joined the Burhaniyya and have been authorized as spiritual guide in the Tariqa. I would like also to point out that during the time Caliphate of Sheikh Ibrahim, also many Burhanis have been also authorized as a spiritual guide in the Tariqa. However, those students, by the way, spread out through different parts of the country. What are the things that distinguish the Tariqa? I'm referring here to Burhaniyya Tariqa in Sudanese settings. It is a centralized Tariqa. And here just I would like to say that out of my presentation to Sudanese major Turuq, the decentralized and centralized Tariqas, Burhaniyya is a centralized Tariqa and its headquarters is now in Khartoum. So it is a centralized Tariqa, well represented in the regions, whether inside or outside Sudan. It used to be represented through what is known as Murshid, or the spiritual guide. So the spiritual guide is the representative of the Tariqa, whether inside or outside Sudan. Another feature that stands as the distinction or as the main feature to the Tariqa is Neo-Sufi movement. It can be used to be described as a Neo-Sufi movement. By the way, this Neo-Sufi movement is the movement that it started from the end of French Sultanate, represented on the arrival of three major Turuq, that is the Samaniya, the Khatmiyya, represented in the school of Sheikh Ahmad ibn Idris, and followed by the Tijaniyya. So, starting from the end of French Sultanate, Sudanese Sufi movement has received a new wave of change. And by the way, the features of this new wave of change represented on the composition of poetry in praise of Prophet Muhammad, describing him as the light, focusing on the speech on the notion of the Muhammadan path, so on and so forth. So Burhaniyya is in the very same line. It can be described as a new Sufi movement. And here also I would like to say that the Tariqa had drew many members of its followers from the upper uneducated classes. So it can be described as a Tariqa that it attracted the middle class in Sudanese and also in outside the country. However, following his establishment to the Tariqa pillars, after life full of great accomplished deeds, my master, Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani, has passed away in 1983 and came to be succeeded by his son, Sheikh Ibrahim. So just here I would like to present some notes and some information about the second in line of the Burhaniyya in Sudan, that is Sheikh Ibrahim, the son of Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhan. So Sheikh Ibrahim has born in 1938 and passed away in 2003. He is the eldest son of Sheikh Muhammad Usman, and his first successor took over leadership of the Tariqa after the passing away of his father in April 1983. Sheikh Ibrahim went with the Tariqa a long way, spreading it and building zawiyas and mosques throughout Sudan, till no place remained where the Tariqa hasn't reached. He followed the same strategy of his father in the teaching of the Quran, of Quranic teaching, and of his contribution to the Tariqa. To his favor, the construction of the new complex in Khartoum, being the international headquarters of the Tariqa. He built the mosque on an area of 1084 square meters, giving space of thousands of prayer doors. He also chose a series of scholars to teach and give lessons in the mosque and other mosques. As the mosque is built in various cities and locations in Sudan, he also cared about establishing a library at the center. From some of his teaching, we can choose an answer. That is, by the way, the techniques of questioning and answers previously I have stated is the method and technique that followed by his father, Sheikh Muhammad Hassan Abdul Burhani. So here, by the way, is an example of an inquirer asking the Sheikh about what she should do to the Tariqa as a thankfulness to the guidance provided by the Tariqa Shuyukh. So here just I would like to take this dialogue between the Sheikh and a female murid of the Tariqa sister. How and what can one do to give thanks to the Tariqa? Mullah Sheikh Ibrahim, may Allah be blessed with him, answered, look, my daughter, the greatest thing a Tariqa brother or sister can give to the Tariqa is excelling. I said, excelling in the study, as we were students in different universities. He said, look, here the greatest thing that any Burhani can give to the Tariqa is excelling in politeness and engagement with others, especially if those others are not Tariqa adherents. Also excelling in study, work, and at home in the way you treat your parents, your family, your spouse, your son and daughter. Excelling in the bringing up of the young, and before everything, excelling in your awrad and love to your mashayikh and contact with the tariqah brothers and sisters. Very importantly is the high understanding of the discipline and beauty of the tariqah. As the tariqah followers or as the tariqah follower represent the tariqah in the society, family and living area, where it is possible that the area he or she in or is in are not all Burhanis. So he or she acts as an ambassador of the tariqah. In this case, you want or do not want, you have to excel in your behavior, speech and engagement with people. This matter of excelling, I swear, is not difficult, my daughter. Only we need determination and keeping regular in doing awrad and obeying the Sheikh. In this way, you have increased the fire of love inside you. By that you will work hard to learn from the books of my father and the mashayikh, and by awareness and consciousness you will be realizing the polite behavior and you will excel. And other than that we do not accept, for we love the tariqah brothers and sisters. Following his assume of the Caliphate of the Tariqah in 1983 and up to 2003, Sheikh Ibrahim had added so a lot of contribution to the Tariqah. The Tariqah in his own time has spread so magnificently and was widespread in many foreign countries. As I have stated earlier, it has so gained so a lot of murids in Europe, furthermore in Asia and also in the Arab world. So after this long life and strong achievement, Sheikh Ibrahim has passed away in 2003 and came to be succeeded by his son Sheikh Muhammad. Sheikh Ibrahim, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani. Sheikh Muhammad Usman grandson, I'm referring here to Sheikh Muhammad bin Sheikh Ibrahim, the grandson of Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhan, is the founder of the Tariqah, was born in 1971 and received university degrees from Germany in both medicine and engineering. He took over the leadership of the Tariqah to develop further what his fathers had established. Mulana Sheikh Muhammad, may Allah be blessed with him, raises the importance of combining the remembrance, dhikr, with knowledge. This is considered the basic of Tariqah Burhaniyya. At the sake of its great founder, Sheikh Ibrahim al-Dasuki, said, "A knowledge is by no means to be disconnected from dhikr." However, Sheikh Muhammad had added the current Khalifa on his own part, added to the construction of the main center complex of the Tariqah new multi-story building, and also many buildings in the city to accommodate the Tariqah guests from abroad, especially who come in masses for attending the annual gathering for the Hawliya in Khartoum. He also cared about collecting and compiling in books all the recorded lessons of his grandfather, Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhani. The Tariqah showed remarkable spreading in Sudan, Egypt, the Arab world and the West during his Caliphate, and in the East more than 21 centers of the Tariqah are established in Pakistan to receive thousands of newcomers to the Tariqah. Also 100 entered the Tariqah in India. All over the Zawiyas, lessons are organized and group gatherings to exchange knowledge are taking place under his supervision. Group zikr called Hadra is performed twice a week on Sunday evenings and Thursdays, while sometimes these are changed as any area conditions. Munshits and munshid, by the way, the praise singers of the Tariqa. Praise singers of the Tariqa are selected and trained to perform singing up the part of the Hadra or during gathering or celebration. Gathering or celebrations, he, Sheikh Muhammad Sheikh Ibrahim, recommends the followers to care about their awrad, their families and their society, and to act positively through all their responsibilities. Highlighting the morals question in his speech, by the way, the tradition and during the Hawliyat days, a speech used to be delivered by the spiritual guide, the Sheikh and the Khalifa of the center. So in his speech addressing the audience of the Hawliyah in 2022 in the world, he said, just I would like to quote part of his speech during the Hawliyah of 2022. He said, man desires in two ways and is desired accordingly. Whoever desires this world, death pursues him until it carries him out of this world. And he who desires the hereafter, this world pursues him until he gets all that is his due. Thus, this world is honey mixed with poison. It is joy combined with sorrow. So don't be misled by its blossoms and don't be seduced by its beautiful appearance. For this world snatches the gifts from you and devours the nations. So if you are ignorant, you should better ask. And if you misstep, then turn back. And if you do something bad, then repent it. And if you are angry, then become meek. Whoever strives for honor should adhere to obedience. The light of the believer is in the prayer of might. Transitional Tariqa. Sufi Tariqas are in many respects unique communities, not only in the diversity of structure and theologies, but also in their ability to adapt to social and cultural contexts, integrating the theophysical and esoteric with the social and political. Most tariqas have played and many still play a significant role in Muslim societies. In contemporary, modern and post-modern contexts, the study of such communities is important as it facilitates an understanding of the adaptation of communities whose focus is essentially transcendent and whose interactions are increasingly transitional. Within a few decades, the Burhaniyya changed from a small local order into a larger and transitional one. Its initial organizational structure corresponded to the pre-modern phase of Sufi globalization, described by Freshkov 2001. By globalization, Preskov is not referring to an organization being present everywhere around the globe, but being increasingly connected to larger regional and global networks. In earlier periods, these networks were so loose that people from different regions were largely unaware of their interconnectedness. Freshkov describes Sufi globalization in the pre-modern phase as small numbers of disciples gather around local shuyukh or local sheikhs and usually linked to a vast decentralized network such as Gadiriya or Shazaliya. Then in the late 19th century, a new phase of Sufi globalization began with the appearance of orders that were centralized, reformist, and pan-Islamic. The Burhaniyya order taking advantage of the new technologies is attempting to create an international network within which its members can be kept up to date regarding the activities of the Brotherhood. This global dimension is evident on the Burhaniyya's website as well, where its open-minded and transitional character is stressed even more than its Sudanese origins. By emphasizing that the geographical elements loses importance when the religious aspect is dominant. In fact, all Murids are united beyond their ethical or their ethnical or national origins by the love they bear for their sheikh and the specific ritual practice he advises to them. Burhaniyya in the Western world. Since 1971, the order has also spread to Europe and North America. Later in 1980, a group of 60 German men and women entered the Islam by the Tariqa Burhaniyya Arabic expatriates to Germany through guidance of Sheikh Muhammad Usman, the founder of the Tariqa, to become the nucleus of spreading the Tariqa in Germany, and visited Khartoum in 1981 to meet Sheikh Muhammad Usman Abdul Burhan. The Burhaniyya Sufi order has different zawiyas in the West, including Germany, France, Italy, and the USA. In the 1980s, Burhaniyya concentrated its efforts on its European branches that had been thriving since the 1970s, especially in Germany. So here I would like to provide some notes about the spread of the teachings of the Tariqa in Germany. In fact, in Germany, the Western country where this brotherhood is most widespread, half of its members are women. In the same country, the current Sheikh of Burhaniyya, the grandson of its founder, attended university and now lives with his wife, a German disciple of the order. The history of the movement took a new turn, where a small number of young Germans came into contact with the order and its sheikh in the late 1970s. So, by the way, I'm here based on the information that I have taken from the website of the Burhaniyya itself, in addition to my authoring book, The Sudanese Major Turuq. And also I have consulted so many websites. So out of these different sources, by the way, I'm making up my presentation based on these sources as I have stated. During the last 25 years, Burhaniyya has undergone a process of transformation from a regional North African Sufi order to a dynamic transitional movement with an important presence in the West. To great extent, the center of gravity has moved to Germany, creating an alternative center in Europe. The movement is represented in several German cities with groups of various sizes, the biggest being located in Hamburg, Berlin, and Munich. The core group of German veterans who were attracted to the Burhaniyya Sufi practice in the 1970s and 1980s formed the backbone of the Tariqa in Germany, and they still hold most of the positions in the religious and administrative hierarchy. To a great extent, these members are married and have children inside the movement and thus constitute the first generation Muslim convert German Burhanis. The conversion of these veterans did not take place through reading Islamic literature or Muslim missionary activity, and most of them previously had no contact with Islam. Many of them were formerly practicing Christians, but not all of the considerable influence was a book that achieved wide readership in several European countries since it first appeared in 1976. The book in its English original version is The Last Barrier, written by the British author and Sufi teacher Richard Field. However, just what has attracted to the fold of Islam, to the fold of the Burhaniyya, as had been mentioned here, mainly the German Burhanit is the books that have been written by a Sufi, a British Sufi author, entitled The Last Barrier. So this book, by the way, has its own influence upon the German Burhanis. Several Burhanis veterans stated that this book inspired them to speak out or to seek out Sufism. The book is composed like a modern Sufi legend, where the spirituality interested Field, the author, meets a Turkish Sufi master in London and later travels to Turkey in order to undergo further training. With empathy and a large degree of self-reflection, the book recounts the author's struggles and gradual progress on the Sufi way of annihilating the ego, as one Burhani veteran relates. I like the book so much. It was the only book of this kind that I had read. And I said to my friend, I would like to meet a master like him. That would be wonderful. And my friend had said, such a man or such one can be found. And I said, where? Then she said, in Khartoum, in Sudan. And I said, I want to meet him. But I didn't know anything. I had never had anything to do with Islam, and I had never heard anything about Sufism. It was just this condition that I read about, that someone from our world goes into another world, so to speak, and there reactivates his roots from a wholly new perspective. This person later traveled to Sudan in order to meet the Sheikh, and is still an active member of the Tariqa Burhaniyya. Her account seems to resemble Field's spiritual quest in the Middle East, and as in many ways typical of the German veterans, they were looking for a spiritual way, but knew little or nothing about Islam or Sufism. They were drawn into Sufism through meeting with the master or hearing about him. They started practicing the Burhaniyya rituals in small groups, and only gradually did become clear to them that their attachment to Sufism would also imply becoming a Muslim.